Hello! Yes! Here we are for part 2 of the book that I've lost the title of the name of. Myths, Magic and Muddy Boots, I believe. I think everything is in order, ready to go. I will allow some people to turn up and I'll do a quick summary of where we got to last time before the pages run out. I have fresh pages. And we will be finishing the story today, so you will get your conclusion. So try and hold back that excitement. Just make sure all of my setup is correct. Can't cut my tree. A box fell down when I was getting set up from the sky. I don't know if that was an omen or not. Got all comfy here. Got my pig. Pigs in Charlotte. Cappy. So this is a book by Joe Brumby, who's part of the Brothers Brum. Let me know you can hear me and all that sort of stuff as well before I properly start. We did part 1. It's about some crazy little creatures that get up to adventures. And this is, I believe, an intro book. So what happened last time? We got introduced to Snurg the ogre. We got the hedgehog, the orangutan full to brim, and the hedgehog Hedgewick. I should have looked this up beforehand. It feels like it's been a very long time before the last stream. But they have been transported into somewhere, and the ogre was not supposed to come, but he's there now. So they're an unlikely group of folk that are now going to be travelling around together, although they're now apart. And I don't actually know what happens next, so I'm quite excited to find out as well. We finished with the lizard lads, so I'll go back slightly, just so we start at a point that makes sense. If you could give a little thumbs up on there where you're watching, that will help. And sort of, if you can quickly just go around the Facebook, Twitter, especially the Facebook, and just post, watching now, it's a wicked. And more people will be able to see it, because the algorithms keep screwing at me. So, I hope you're all settled and ready. I re-listened to the last one, and I'll try and make it less noisy. So feels less ambient. It's got a big light on. Right. So where should we start, actually? So we're now looking back at Mr. Snurg. So I'll do the song again. Right. Let's get back to the other bloke and see what he's been doing. Perhaps he's found the settlement, or maybe trouble's brewing. But no, it seems that all he's done is, in all the time that's passed, is walk about a mile or so. You can hardly call it fast. We must really pick up the pace. This poem might get boring, so let's hope that something happens soon, or we'll all be snoring. Well, fortunately, to that end, there comes a strange new sound that perks the ogre's interests up and makes him look around. And there behind him, on the road, a cheerful little man who's singing to his lizards as they pull his caravan. Oh, along my little lizard lads, let's bring our wagon home. We've done our day at market, so let's get back to Frome. Come on, you know the song now, this is the second time. We've made a pretty penny, and we've spent a few as well. We've rid ourselves of everything we took to town to sell. Oh, along my little lizard lads, let's bring our wagon home. That's a rapper. We've done our day at market, so let's get back to Frome. We've spent our coin, we've bought our goods, we've traded and we've sold, so let's get home to Frome, sweet Frome, and count up all our gold. Ah, along my little lizard lads, let's bring our wagon home. We've done our day at market, so let's get back to Frome. They steer to where the ogre stands and pull up at his side. The driver shows a friendly smile and offers Snurg a ride. He's going, as it happens, to the settlement nearby. He urges Snurg to hurry. There are rain clouds drawing by. The ogre very gladly takes advantage of a rest, still wondering why he has even been brought upon this quest. Whichever wizard git it was that magicized him here, the ogre wants to track him down and grab him by the ear. Then chuck 'em in a great big pit and fill it full of droppings, like dog and cat and camel poo and rancid donkey ploppings. He knows he'll have to compromise, pretend to go along, until he gets to figure out just who has done him wrong. But that stuff's for the future, and now he'll have to wait, as he's eyeing up the village as they draw up to the gates. A pair of guards are stationed there to keep a weary eye for any kind of miscreant that might come passing by. They're clearly quite unsettled by the presence of this stranger, trying to determine if he's going to be a danger. The driver makes assurances of promises and calm, attesting for the ogre that he'll offer them no harm. Convinced at last, they stand aside and let the wagon through, and Snug at once begins to plan for what he needs to do. He's seen that Sigurd's bunny suit is hanging from a tower and reckons he'll have this all resolved within an hour. However, first his presence has a price that must be paid. His host demands that tales of his adventures be relayed. His fame, you see, has spread afar. His exploits known to all. The villagers would like to hear them echo through his hall. But now, this invitation causes the ogre to wonder. On certain misconceptions has he been operating under. He reckons, till just now, this was a new world he'd been brought to. But clearly his existence drew more focus than it ought to. In fact, these very villagers knew aught of his antiquity, provided pudding proof that he'd been here in Earth's antiquity. In spite of the morass of thoughts this forces on his senses, Snurg has to keep his mind on where his present tense is. He therefore starts to reminisce on all the things he's done. Of dragons fought, of demons killed, and the battles that he's won. While all this is going on, let's not forget our friends, whose muckier adventurings are almost at an end. They've made their way by toil and strife through all that lies beneath, the worst of muck, the foulest filth, and whiffs beyond belief. Though, thankfully, they also found, along the sewer's course, a sluice designed for flushing from a purer water source. And thanks to that, they've had the chance to get a little cleaner, replenishing their spirits and restoring their demeanour. On top of this, they've somehow wound up in the village well. Though just how they've managed that is rather hard to tell. But never mind. The end result is that they're free from stinking, and now in prime position to get on with cunning thinking. They opt to wait until it's dark to help them in their sneaking, then hope to find the captured dwarf with cautious window peeking. We reattend the ogre as he casts some cracking tales of hacking horrid hydra heads and spearing serpent scales, as villagers observe him as he blathers by the fire, becoming ever more convinced that he's just a great big liar. The chief decides he's heard enough and beckons to the crowd, declaring that no further fancy fables be allowed. Snug. He tells the other villagers to tie the ogre's hands, then beat him up and knock him down, and other such commands. The settlers start to call him names and push him to the floor, then wind him in a knotted rope and drag him to the door. They laugh as they berate him, and they punch him in the head. They haul him roughly down the street and chuck him in a shed. This is just the place they've had the dwarf in keeping, and though it has a bed or two, there's not much chance of sleeping. They've kept the dwarf imprisoned here with rather horrid reasoning. They plan to put him in a pot with carrots, tates, and seasoning. It turns out these friendly folk are truly rather nasty. They'd like to cook you in a stew or bake you in a pasty. So things are going bad, it seems, as far as rescues go. Perhaps those fellows in the well will make a better show? Chapter 5, The Escape. Back to our little chums. Hamster and orangutan are tutting with dismay. They can't believe the ogre has made such a poor display. It looks as if it's down to them to get the mission done. So they start their planning as they mark the setting sun. Part 1. The sculptor's bunny suit must somehow be retrieved. They need to have a think for how this task might be achieved. Though certain he can climb to where the onesie can be got at, the hamster's more concerned about the guards being shot at. He wonders if a clever incantation can be plotted to help him make his way up to the suit and not be spotted. The primate lets an instant pass, then grins with great delight. He thinks he has a trick to keep the hamster out of sight. So, as the ape draws Urtha's strength to cast his spell, the hamster turns invisible. Hey! Then leaps out of the well. While Fulto waits, the rodent quickly clambers up the tower. It isn't long, approximately a quarter of an hour. He snatches up the bunny suit and scampers down to hide, returning to the water hole and back to Fulto's side. The second little problem is the matter of alarms, though Hellingus thinks it's solvable with one of Fulto's charms. They need to keep the tower guard from setting off her bell in case they make a fumble bum of exiting the well. The hamster's plan requires that Fulto cast a spell of silence to stop the clangor clanging and to spare the pair from violence. There's one last hitch. The ape believes the bell might be too far, worries that the magic might not reach from where they are. But Hengist has a scheme to help the spell to get that high, to cast it on an arrow that he can shoot into the sky. If he can get a shot to stick to somewhere near the bell, then Fulto's fancy magic trick should stop its noisy knell. The ape agrees. It's really quite a masterful idea. He starts to move and chant and gets his powers into gear. The magic gets recycled and the hamster reappears, beginning with his whiskers, then his nose, and then his ears. In moments more, the little rodent's fully reinstated and waiting as the next enchantment is initiated. The bow and arrows shimmer as the magic works its art. The hamster takes them carefully and moves to do his part. His aim is good. His shot is true. The plan has worked a treat. The duo sneak towards the shed on quick and quiet feet. Now hold on, say the doubters. With that shiny bluey light, the hamster surely brings both he and Fulto into sight. That would be true, of course, but it's a momentary glare, extinguished in the instant that the arrow takes to the air. How lucky and convenient, add those intent to moan. Well, that's the way the story went. Don't like it? Write your own. Now, hopefully, with that addressed, the snidey snark has gone. We're free to follow with the rest. So yes, let's toddle on. Where were we? The stalwart pair, in sojourn by the shed. as if they've been in limbo till the tale can go ahead. They slowly ease the door ajar to gauge the situation, perhaps expecting to see torture or interrogation. But both of them are quite surprised, and rather struck with awe. The ogre is untied, and all the guards are on the floor. It's also clear the ogre has the sculptor's bonds undone. He mentions to the others that it might be time to run. But first, let's get this fella dressed before we call it quits. He stood here in his undercrackers, shivering to bits. Poor Sigurd's quite embarrassed, and he can't avoid the snickers, as Fulterbrim and Hengist won't stop laughing at his knickers. They give the dwarf his bunny suit. Hengist checks outside. He spots some stripy lizard things that might be good to ride. Oh, the lizard lads are coming back. He sneaks to their enclosure and selects a sturdy pair, returning to the shed to find the others waiting there. They mount up on the scaly beasts, actions now, and get the critters moving. It looks as if their chances of escaping are improving. Keep the bear on. But no such luck, it seems. That Fulto's spell has fizzled out. The tower guard has rung her bell and raised a mighty shout. The villagers come running out. They're ready for a fight, determined that our little group won't make it through the night. They're quickly perched on lizards too, and hastily give chase. And though they're quite far behind, they've set a cracking pace. The escapees are slower. Their steeds are not so sleek. So Fulto tries another spell, although he's feeling weak. He shouts against the raging storm, defiant of the rain. "Oh, mother, keep us free from harm and save us from all pain." At once, a magic boundary surrounds the fleeing foursome. It's clear that Fulto's goddess has her wonders set on awesome. The barrier, apparently, protects them from attacks. It stops the sting of bullets and keeps arrows off their backs. The spell is quite a clever one. Proficient at deflecting, it's rather more resistance than the settlers were expecting. The Fromians are flummoxed, and they must admit defeat. They have no magic of their own, and they know when they're beat. They turn around and head for home and get out of the rain. It looks as if they'll just be having beans on toast again. Chapter 6. The ending thing. Well, who would have thought that such a group could make a great escape? A bunny dwarf, an ogre, and a hamster, and an ape? They're not exactly what you'd call the standard sort of folk, about the likes of whom such tales are writ or sung or spoke. This quartet of adventurers, replete with pride and glory, are more or less quite unaware they've been in such a story. It's certain that they could use some better knowledge of their roles, or quite what hold the dwarves might have upon their earthy souls. Alas, it seems that now we must, at fate's polite behest, cut short our rambling yarn of this extraordinary quest. A blinding flash returns them to the chamber whence they came, with just that little plot twist that's been added to the game. The dwarves have sent the ogre to some random otherwhere, presenting an uncertain end to this bizarre affair. All's well for now, at least we're sure. He's nowhere lurking near. but who knows when he might return and give us cause to fear. It's better not to wonder where this monster might have vanished, and be hopeful that he's gone for good and permanently banished. I don't think so. I like him. There's still a nagging question, though, of a puzzle yet unsolved, of how, by whom, or even why the ogre was involved. It seems that he and you and we are stuck with our confusion as this poem thing is rapidly approaching its conclusion. And so, until we brothers, not me, the brothers Brum, get another story penned, we'll have to bring this presentation to an end. We'd much prefer to finish with an ending that is sharper, and not this rather lame attempt to bodge it off and scarper. So, as a last-ditch effort to atone for our mistakes, a line or two to chill things out for everybody's sakes. Let's turn our thoughts to pleasant things like jellies and ice creams, or otherwise whatever wonders fill our fondest dreams. Pigs. We hope you have enjoyed our versy venture into writing and found at least a little of its silliness exciting. We thank you, patient reader. Now the end is drawing nigh. We'll see you soon. Farewell for now. In other words, goodbye. I'm still here. I hope you enjoyed that. I had lots of fun and I want them to write some more. Oh, this is so comfy. This little piglet. I will pop in the comments now and reply on typiness, so the video is not too long. Thank you everybody who came along. If you missed part 1, go and have a look for more context of the story. I absolutely love it. And you should go give Snurg and Fenris Games a follow. I'll put their info in the link and they'll put it in the comments too. And have a look. And there's also a book out already, which is the first book of Wyrdworld. So I'll get some links put together for you there. Thank you, Brothers Brum, for coming up with such a lovely story. There's miniatures on the Fenris Games website. Oh, you can't see me stroking this pig. There's miniatures on the Fenris Games website which fit in quite nicely because it's this world they've been building up between them for quite some time. He's put some rules up there too. I am absolutely not affiliated in any sort of commercial way to this. I just think it's neat. And they're awesome people and it's a cool book. So I'll be in the comments in a second. And thank you. Bye. Be good.